Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. This is a video to go over homework number 93, which is your homework for the explicit formulas for geometric sequences. Please make sure you post it on Google Classroom so you get credit. Okay, so for the first three, it wants you to figure out if they were arithmetic, geometric, or neither. So the first one, it keeps adding by 5, so that's arithmetic, that's your difference of 5, add by 5 repeatedly. For geometric, the B was geometric, your ratio was 4, so you multiply by 4 repeatedly. And for the next one's also geometric, your ratio was -3, and you multiply by, why do I have 4 here? Let's see, 4.5 divided by 1.5 is definitely 3, and that should be 3. All right, so for the next one, number 2, they tell you it's geometric, so all of them are going to have a ratio. And what you want to do is you want to find the ratio and then write the explicit formula. So for the first one, the ratio is 2. Remember, for the formula, you need a sub 1 and your ratio. So a sub 1 is 10, ratio is 2. That's what your equation should look like. For the next one, a sub 1 is 7. Your ratio is -1. That's what your formula should look like. Make sure you have that in parentheses. Very important. If it's a negative. Okay, a sub 1 is 3. Ratio is -4. Again, make sure this is in parentheses. And again, you don't really have to simplify anything when it has the explicit for geometric because there's really no simplifying to do. Okay, D, a sub 1 is 162. Remember, a sub 1 is always this first number here. Okay, you assume if they give you the list, you assume that number is a sub 1. Okay, so a sub 1 is 100. This one, I don't know if I finished this one. A sub 1 is 162. The ratio is 2/3. Okay, that was a tricky one. If you take the second number, 108, divided by the first number, 162, you get this decimal. Alpha y equals your fraction to decimal. We'll convert it to 2/3 for you. Okay, so 162, that times 2/3 the n-1. Here, your ratio, as you can tell, the numbers are going smaller, so you're multiplying by something that's less than 1, so that's 1/2, and your starting value is a sub 1. A sub 1 here is 4, your ratio is 3, okay? Next couple, so 14th term, what is the 14th term? So again, you have to figure out the regular equation first. You have to figure out the explicit. Okay, so for the first one, a sub 1 is 1, your ratio is 3. Notice that I guess maybe I'll show you one more step, just so you can see again how I did this, because you want it to be in simplest form. So this is 3 to the 1 and n-1. So you keep the base the same and you add those exponents, and that'll get you the 3 to the n that and you must figure out first. So must do first so that you can use this to plug in for when n equals 14. And you get that 4 million number. Okay, for the next one, again, must do first. You must get that explicit by doing your a sub 1, which is -2, and multiplying by your ratio. Make sure this is in parentheses. So must be in parentheses. Again, because that's a negative. Here, 11 terms, so n equals 11. Exponents, do the exponents first. Figure this out in your calculator first. Use parentheses in calc, that's important. So it gives you the right answer, and then -19 million is your number. Last one, again, do first. This one you can leave the 1, it's not wrong, but the Regents won't have it there because they're going to take this entire thing and multiply it by 1 to get that. So that you notice I'm just going to use the simplified version, and we want the 8th term. Okay, this is the 14th, the 11th, the 8th. So when n equals 8, you get 2,187. Okay, to the back. Given the first term and the common ratio, find the first from these. Okay, so remember, before you get anything else, you have to do the explicit first. So you need your a sub 1, which they said was 1, your ratio, which is 2. And again, I simplified just like I did the front. So when I fill it in, when n is 2, n is 3, n is 4, and n is 5. 2, 4, 8, 16. Notice all the numbers are doubling. That should make sense because your ratio is 2. That means you keep multiplying by 2. The first term of geometric is -0.025. Okay, so your first term is your a sub 1. The common ratio, that's your r, is -8. Find the 7. So here you must do first. Must do first. You got to figure this out first. And this must be in parentheses because it's negative. Okay, that's super important. So when you're figuring out your nth term, so that's your n equals 7, you get -65,536. Make sure these are all 7s and not n's. Okay, number 8, given the explicit formula, find the first 6 terms. So they give you the formula. So just, you know, n equals 1, n equals 2. This is n equals 3, n equals 4, n equals 5, and n equals 6. So just each time plug in the calculator and get your answer. Okay, number 9, round 1. If this is round 1, if it has the 1, that means it's going to be a sub 1. So a sub 1 is 128. After each round, half the players have lost or eliminated. So your ratio is 1/2. Therefore, in round 2, there's 64. Round 3, okay. So it wants us to figure out. So half right away, you know it's going to be geometric. That was with our functions 2 unit. That was with our exponential form. And we want to know the formula. So a sub 1 is 128. Your ratio is 1/2, and you leave it just like that. Okay, and for the last one, number 10, Gabe and Eric are finding the nth term of the geometric sequence, -5, 10, -20. Is either of them correct? And explain. Okay, so before I look at their work, I definitely want to just look at my own work and do my own work. So I want to figure out the nth term. So I'm going to do my explicit first. So I know a sub 1 is -5. I know my ratio is -2 because -5 times -2 is 10. 10 times -2 is -20. So when I fill that in, I get a sub n equals -5. Let me do that over here. A sub n equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. And a sub n equals -5 times -2 to the n minus 1. So now that I have that general formula, now I'm going to use the formula and figure out the ninth. So I have a sub n equals -5 times -2 to the n minus 1. And then I have a sub 9 equals -5 times -2 to the 9 minus 1, right? Wherever I see an n, I'm going to put a 9. 9 minus 1 is 8. Do exponents first. -2 to the 8th power. Be really super careful. You want to make sure that you're putting that in parentheses. If you don't put that, can't see. If you don't put that in parentheses, then you're not going to get the right answer. Okay, so that's 256. 256 times -5 is -1,280. So that's the right answer. So let's see what they did. Okay. So let's see what they did. Eric is kind of easy to figure out. If you notice, -256, +256, he should have a positive. What he did is he didn't listen to his teacher and he didn't put it in parentheses. So he got a -256, which is really -1 times 2 to the 8th. -1 times 2 to the 8th. That's really what he did. That's how he got -256. Gabe, I don't know what Gabe was doing. Gabe wasn't doing a good job. He somehow made this 2 to the 9th. Really not sure. We know it should be -2 to the 8th power. Again, in parentheses, but he got to the 9th. Not sure. So neither of them correct. And the right is a to the 9th. A sub 9, equals -1,280. All right, so if you have any questions, let me know. Please make sure you post it on Google Classroom so you get credit for it. And thanks so much. Bye.